if the question is content in general, like what kind of gaming genre I think will do the best and will be the best for Web3, we need a first person shooter. We need a really good first person shooter, and that kind of content to really hit it off. All these other games are great, but I think we need a really good first person shooter. I think something with Illuvium is very interesting as well, where you're collecting and kind of like Pokemon kind of thing. And since it's on desktop, I think we'll bring a lot of viewers for that if the content is done right. So I think first person shooter is the most important. TSG.
It's hard, man. If we're talking about like a genre specific, like a specific genre for a game, I think MOBAs, MOBAs is what I would say. Just because we've seen the craze with, because if we're talking about like current esports right now, again, what is the highest prize pool for an esport? It's not a first person shooter, it's Dota. So that's kind of where the big, especially like for Web2 sponsorships and things like that, that's where they're looking at already for esports in gaming in that genre. So the problem with that is, with that being like the number one spot in terms of prize pools for esports, it's, are we going to create a game that's bigger than Dota? Like that's the question there. How are we going to take that market share? Because not only is it just Dota we're competing with, it's League of Legends as well. So I think it's going to be hard. But I think MOBA, again, it's a pretty general. There's no real like backing to defend my thoughts there. I just think it's
right.
Yeah, I agree on the genre. Let me push back on this a little bit though, because I think the fact that there's a couple MOBAs and to your point, Will, we've got some FPS that are out that are pretty large. I actually think this is a case where the pool can grow to be so much larger than it is right now that I don't even think it's necessarily a question of stealing market share, because I would submit that if you're a fan of esports and you've watched, even like going way back to StarCraft back in the day, and you were engaged in watching RTS gameplay tournaments 15 years ago, you're open to the concept of doing so today. And likely it's going to be the case that we can create a much larger audience the more accessible that these games are and the more interesting they are. And there's a lot of people that I think they like the concept of games, but the lack of ownership is a big hurdle for people to try and get over. So I do think that this is the case where as money increases in the games and you're able to actually give bigger prize pools for tournaments, you're going to see a lot better quality players come to the field for it. And as a result, you're also going to have more competitive and interesting gameplay that you can bring in viewers to.
And actually, I agree with you, Annie. Oh, sorry, Will.
I was just going to say, like, MOBA is is cool and all. And like you say, like there's a bunch of viewers for that. But like the biggest content creators, are they really on MOBA? I feel like there's not that huge MOBA content creator. Like they're not playing MOBA games. They're playing the first person shooter, like the mainstream kind of games like Warzone, Fortnite, whatever it be.
Valorant, I think you are right. I think you're right. Because with those first person shooters, you can have like these challenges where it's like, yo, quick score 330, 360, whatever, like whatever it is. Like you can have these funny kind of moments. Clearly, my age is catching up. I don't know what's going on anymore.
It's you and Messi.
Me and Messi, we're around the same. We're
LeBron James, he's such a juvenile. LeBron is such a juvenile. It's so young.
We're getting up there now. You're right. So I think you're right. I think in terms of content, I think it's a lot easier to sell first-person shooter content than it is MOBA.
True.
And something that you're actually saying, Annie, as well about accessibility. This is something that I hope that we don't go down this road, because we've seen it happen already with boxing and baseball. I like having it behind a paywall is the death of the industry. Like I think with boxing is getting a kind of revitalization, I think, if that's the word, with the YouTube boxing scene, because it's like celebrities of boxing, but otherwise normal boxing is dead. Like not dead, but I mean it was never like, there's no Muhammad Ali, like there's no one kind of tracking them and making them pay. So us as Web3 gamers or people in Web3, we need to understand that that's not the route that we want to go on. We want to try and make it as accessible as possible. and just be cautious of that, because I think that is something that we need to be aware of.